time for the Fan Connection presented by AT&T. Every week, we invite you, the listener, to connect with us by submitting your questions. The best way to grow the game of soccer in the U.S. is to keep asking questions and keep talking about this sport we all love. At AT&T, connecting changes everything. And on USMNT, our connections with you will help grow the game. It's that time again, LD.
Time to connect.
The AT&T Fan Connection. It's where you all get to ask us. You get to yell at us, kind of.
There were some good ones last week, by the way.
Great
New England stuff.
It's good, yeah. It's good. We love all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Speaking of the good,
Jordan,
how are you?
Speaking of the bad,
that was. I thought you were calling me ugly. I didn't know what was about to happen.
Ugly is me, folks. All right.
Are you not wearing a football jersey? What are you doing?
Well, I'm waiting for my vintage Donovan and Howard U.S. Men's National Team jerseys to come in the mail. So,
what would be? Well, by the way, we got
some real vintage.
We got the Johnny Cash going to all black.
Well, our listeners don't know that a couple of weeks ago I wore that yellow Umbro New Order crossover shirt, and we were talking about the Everton shirt, and I found one on eBay. I've been
yellow
sitting
one?
on it. Yeah,
How cool is that? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna go into my garage. I have a few big cartons of jerseys.
I know,
and I'm gonna grab that one. I think I have it. And I'm going to bring out old vintage. I mean, vintage, like, do you remember the jerseys, Tim, like late 90s, how big and baggy they were?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I have one it's gnarly.
What's your, the one you need to find, which is like a cult classic, is the Army Green camo. It's when I scored the goal, Landon, you were playing.
Oh, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
People remember that shirt.
Love it. People love it. I don't have one. I literally don't have one.
You never kept one?
I think I might have kept the black one.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I have.
Well, I'll add it to my list of things I'm looking for. I really like all of the olds, like the long sleeve, really baggy ones. That's my jam.
Wait till you see this,
Jordan. What's your favorite U.S. Men's National Team shirt?
Oh, I don't know if I could pick. Ooh.
I like to wear. Where's Waldo was fun. That Landon, you had.
Yeah, I like the red with the. Is it with the blue sash or the white sash?
Yeah,
that one's cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I don't know. The U.S. Men's National Team ones can be pretty good. So,
yeah,
agreed.
Good. All right, should we jump into some questions? All right. So our first one is from an anonymous person via email, but it's a good question, so don't worry about them being anonymous. Is Nations League increasing the competitive level, or should the big teams of CONCACAF consider merging with CONMEBOL?
Oh. CONMEBOL is South America,
Mm-hmm.
the South America Confederation for people who don't know. I actually don't hate that.
Oh.
The problem is the travel.
Mm-hmm.
Problem's the travel. Because I wonder if they're saying fully merge, meaning qualifying would be together too?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Are they just saying for Gold Cup, Copa America?
For Nations League, that's all I got in the email.
I mean, for Nations League and like instead of having Gold Cup and Copa America, you combine them, which they're starting to do because everyone's getting invited to everything now. I actually love it because I just like more competition against different teams. I hate playing the same teams over and over, so I don't hate it at all.
No, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it at all.
My initial inclination would be like, that's impossible, never going to happen. But we know now that nothing is impossible when it comes to these tournaments. So like, yeah, I'm with LD and Anonymous that like, I'd like to see. Look, this is going to sound very high on my horse, but the results speak for themselves. Like, the U.S. doesn't get enough good games in CONCACAF.
Yeah,
right. They just don't. They don't. And you start to create these headlines of like, oh, so and so is chasing the U.S. and they get like. Still not competitive games.
Yep. And guess what? What do CONCACAF and FIFA care about? Money.
Totally.
Right? And so when Copa America has the U.S. and Mexico in it, and when the Gold Cup has Mexico and whoever else in it, and Brazil and Argentina, it's a whole different story.
Totally different. Yeah.
Right?
I'd like to see us play, because when you look at the European countries, first and foremost, they never, so many of my teammates were English play for England national team, and it's like, I would be shocked. I'm like, they're like, who are you playing? I'm like, oh, we're going back. We're playing Kazakhstan or El Salvador. And they're like, I'm like, who you guys playing? It's a friendly. Like, oh, we got Italy at Wembley, and then we got to go to Germany for the second leg. I'm like, what?
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I think we played them before the World Cup or something.
You did? I never played Kazakhstan. I want to go there.
We played somebody fact check. We played before the.
No, it was.
It was in California. It was in San Francisco.
Uzbekistan?
Okay, all right, my bad.
Oh,
Uzbekistan,
all the
Kazakhstan.
same,
I
all the
apologize.
same, all the same.
That's my geography there is not great. But yeah, we like these European teams. They play so many big games. There's never a game off. So I'd like to see it.
It's true.
They would have to expand though, right? Like if you're adding more countries, then you have to expand how the tournament works.
Sure. Well, FIFA said they had an idea that was brought up in the meeting from somebody anonymous. I think anonymous said.
By the way, can we just talk? Why do you put anonymous when you're asking a question? You could make up a name.
Just make up a name.
You don't have to be anonymous. Unless your name is anonymous.
In this person's defense, I'm just going to defend this person.
Elon Musk's kid.
Their email did not indicate their name. Like their email address didn't indicate a name, and they didn't sign. Yeah, they didn't sign.
Can I make a rule? Can I make a rule for unfiltered soccer?
Sure.
You're not allowed to send a comment in without some sort of name. Make it up. Make it funny.
That's right.
You have to have a name.
Bit of banter. Give us something to work with.
Okay. How about something from Ben via email? Is that good? Okay.
There we go.
What are your hypothetical score predictions if the current U.S. men's national team played against the best 11 from before 2018?
Wait a minute.
The best U.S. 11?
Yeah. So like
in one game?
Against who? The current team?
Yes.
He loves this.
Ben, are you kidding me? But that's free. That's carte blanche to name anybody before 2018. Anybody.
Correct.
Yes.
God, that's what he's asking. This is what the problem with people who just started watching soccer 6 years ago is they think everyone else used to suck. One guy asked me the other day, he goes, it was about basketball. He goes, do you think Michael Jordan would have been as good in the NBA today? I was like, bro, do you have no idea? These guys who score 35 a night now because nobody defends them wouldn't have scored 12 in the NBA in the 90s because they would have got beaten into the ground by these guys. Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman would have beat the crap out of these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is crazy.
Hang on.
All right, let's do the 11. Let's go.
Yeah,
pre-18 best 11. I think that's the real question.
Oh, wait, has anybody ever Ben? Have you ever seen a young Eddie Pope? What that looks like? Because we're talking about defenders. We're talking about defenders in this current group.
So true.
So true. God bless them. The defenders in this current group.
Yeah,
they look at Eddie Pope. Wow.
Eddie Pope.
Okay. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. So
name the other.
I think 10. In fairness. Okay. Well, let's name the 11, and then we'll see where the advantage is in every instance.
Yeah.
So you're in goal,
obviously.
So let's say Cherundolo on the right. Let's say B's in his prime left back.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll go Eddie Pope and what do you think? Goose?
Bocanegra?
Los, probably Los. Yeah. Probably Los. Then midfield, Claudio, Michael Bradley, I guess, in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Me and Clint.
Claudio.
Striker. Josie or McBride?
We can play them both together.
That's
8. We can play them both together.
Is there anyone else we're missing? Like Tab in his prime?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, or Hugo Perez in his prime. Like who in their prime?
I tell you what, Tab. Wow,
Tab in his prime.
Jesus, who's missing out here?
To be honest, you could make a case for Kobe in his prime too.
Kobe in his prime.
Kobe was nice in his prime. Then you could put me or Clint up top with Josie or Brian. All right, let's just go with some version of that.
Okay.
All right. So the pre-2018 goalkeeper is for sure on our side.
Yeah.
Left back, I love Bees, but Robinson right now is so good.
They might get the tilt with Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, but Bees in the midfield would have been better. Eddie Pope is better than Chris Richards. Los and Tim Ream, push-ish?
I'm not sure it's a push.
No, it's Los.
Yeah, it's Los.
Cherundolo versus what? Serginho Dest?
Yeah. I mean, the problem with Cherundolo is he had major injuries right before World Cup, so people didn't get. He was brilliant.
Was so good, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, we'll say push, whatever. Me and Clint are the top 2 scorers of all time, so it's hard to get outside of that. Christian has to be for the post 2018 in there. Wes and Tyler versus Michael Bradley and Claudio. Claudio was so good, dude. Okay, even if we said push-ish, and then the strikers pre-18 are better than they are now.
Totally.
For sure.
Totally.
So people are going to go crazy probably listening to this. But
Well,
just go to YouTube and watch a few games, guys.
Well, listen,
get back to us.
Claudio and Michael Bradley together in midfield, and they have Wes and Tyler. It's 1-1 there. So that's a split.
That's
right?
fine. Split.
That's a split. Clinton Yu, no question. Josie Striker, no question. Goalkeeper, no question. Christian, absolutely. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Robinson, if you want to make a case that, again, thing about Bees is he was world class at 2 positions, right?
Correct.
And so, which is very difficult to do. But Anthony Robinson, absolutely brilliant. So let's say they get that one.
Maybe 3 or 4 for the post-18 group.
Yeah, which basically means they don't win the game.
They don't win the game.
Yeah, no. Ben, there you go.
Also, way more experience in the pre-18 group.
So
Claudio and Michael Bradley had 700 caps between them. It's just ridiculous.
That's true.
What, Jordan?
In Ben's defense, he did ask you for a score prediction.
Oh, Jesus!
Teams played each other.
We got deep down that rabbit hole.
It's going to be tough for them to score. They might sneak a goal, but it would be tough for them to score. Very tough for them to score. And I fancy myself against that back line a bit. So I'm going to say 2-0 probably. 2-0.
I'm saying 3-1. Good guys.
All right. This next question is from Alex via email. Alex, this is your lucky day because this question starts off, I love hearing about your days with the national team. So here we go.
We could talk all day about it.
How much time we got in this segment?
No problem.
The early 2000s were an era that really opened my eyes to U.S. soccer, and I'm proud of where it is now thanks to the effort and sacrifices you guys have made throughout your careers. With that said, what's been your most intimidating away game with the national team?
I got mine.
I want to hear yours. Go.
Okay, so mine is not even close. Costa Rica at Saprissa away. We played a game there. I mean, we played a few times there. We played a game there. When you show up to the stadium 2 hours before the game, it's packed, completely packed, and it's bouncing. They are jumping and partying, and there's music. So the whole stadium's shaking. We get into the locker room, and they put our locker room strategically right underneath their supporters section. So the whole locker room shakes the whole time you're in there. Can't hear each other. It's just shaking. And it's not a nice stadium, by the way. It's old and you're a little bit worried that walls are going to come in. And then walking out on that pitch, and it was turf.
And a cage around. Did it have a cage around it? Like fencing?
Cage, yep. It was dark, always dark. The lighting was terrible.
Yeah.
And you would be warming up, and I swear to God, Tim, if I'm lying, lightning strike me, there'd be bugs the size of bigger than tennis balls, big with wings and whiskers and you've never seen anything like this. They'd just be chilling on the field as you roll one over them as you're passing. It was gnarly, dude. And that was the only time, even more than Azteca or anywhere else we played, I was like, dude, just get me out of here. I don't even care what the score is. Just get me out of here. I do not want to be here.
You know what's funny? That's great because I almost want to say, and again, we need our fact checkers. I almost want to say I didn't play at Saprissa because they moved from Saprissa to the National Stadium, which is much nicer.
Way
and I think
nicer.
most of my games against Costa Rica were in the National Stadium.
You got lucky then, pal.
I know.
That
I might have been on the
sucked.
bench or something. So interestingly enough, the easy answer is Azteca. And here's why it's not. Because as formidable as it is, I enjoyed that challenge so much. That was there was some sort of sadistic fun in playing there because it's Mexico. The one game for me, and it's a similar vibe, is San Pedro Sula in Honduras.
Oh yeah,
and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And the reason there's this long desolate road, right? And it's hazy and it's a bit brown and gray, and off in the distance you can see San Pedro Sula, and it feels a million miles away. And on this road, right, it's filled with cars and pickup trucks and people walking. I'm talking about 4 miles, right? And they're just walking, and you know where they're going. This is a pilgrimage to the game. And you get there, you have to show
Mecca.
up. It's a Mecca, and you have to show up 2 hours before the game. And the bus pulls in, and as long as I live, I will never forget it. Someone can tell me how many San Pedro Sula holds. I don't know, 50, 60,000, whatever it is. It's this big concrete structure. The bus pulls in down a tunnel, and it opens up. The locker room's here, and it opens up, and all you see is the stadium filled with people. and music and
Blue
horns
and
and loud. And you get off the bus and you go again. It's a tunnel. It's just like concrete tunnel. And you get in the dressing room. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to enjoy this. What I said about Azteca, like I'm nervous, but I'm going to enjoy this. I just kept thinking, I ain't going to enjoy this. This is horrific. The second we come out, because goalkeepers come out first warm up, they're going to boo and whistle and throw things. And that, by the way, does not stop for the next 2 hours. And as the LD said, you just cannot wait to get on the bus home.
Hey, you know what I didn't realize, by the way, but I don't know if it was San Pedro Sula or Tegucigalpa, one of those two places in Honduras. It's the second most dangerous airport in the world to fly into. Like the most difficult landing or whatever. And thank God I never knew that during, as if it wasn't bad enough.
Appreciate you not telling me that until 2025.
Jesus.
Oh, just for the record, I did play at Saprissa. Wasn't that difficult. 1-3-1.
We didn't win. We never won at Saprissa. That might have been. You know what? That might have been a game where I scored. I might have scored a penalty right at the end. How the hell did they give us a penalty? By the way, that was pre-VAR. They weren't giving us any.
Oh, I kind of remember that. I got pumped that game. Never mind.
We got destroyed.
Yeah. Pre-VAR. Good question.
This one's from Dave via email. Curious, as players, what goes through your mind during the national anthem at the start of a match? Especially with your national team games. Are you in the moment enough to even hear it? Do you like to sing along? Can you feel the camera panning down the line?
I'm getting goosebumps. That's a great question. So one, yes, you do feel the camera. It changed a little as I went through my career, depending on the game. It's not like every single national team game was like the crazy goosebumps, crazy pride swelling, whatever. However, there was always a sense of like immense pride. But if we were playing a January game at then Home Depot Center and, it was half full and whatever, it was against Denmark. It's not the same as in a World Cup. But I would close my eyes and almost meditate. I didn't sing, but you're singing it in your head. But that feeling is hard to describe. And you'll never recreate it, ever.
Great answer. A great question. Look, what I would say is I've told people often, one of the greatest loves of my life was playing for my country. I played 121 times, and it was honestly my first game at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. My mom was there. It meant just as much as my last game, which was horrific, losing to Trinidad and Tobago. It meant every game meant the world to me. And as Landon said, some highs are really, really high prior to the game, and some it's hard to hit those heights all the time. But the national anthem was the moment where it was all consuming. Like the training was done, the battle was to come, but that was like a singular moment in time. And what I would say, because I think it's such a great question, and we just talked about Saprissa and San Pedro Sula. When I would stand there with 10 other of my brothers away from home, we were hated. It's hard to illustrate that to people. You're standing there and you have landed in that country, and pretty much for 48 hours, you've been looked at with disgust and you've been hated. And by the way, when they play our amazing national anthem away from home in CONCACAF, it's blared through, it's never words, and it's blared through some rickety PA system. And so the pride that we felt singing it as loud as we could, try to get above the whistles and the boos and all the noise, because they don't respect our national anthem in a lot of these places. That filled me with more pride than anything else.
Just out of curiosity, since you've heard a lot of them besides the U.S. national anthem, which national anthem could you pick out no matter what? Like, which one's the most memorable?
For me, because I'm Canadian too, the Canadian national anthem. But the one that comes to mind right away is Jamaica. Jamaica land we love. And when the whole stadium sing it, it's silly. They go Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. Yeah. And I played them like 12 times in my career, so it's a cool national anthem.
It's good. I don't even know the certain national anthems because didn't pay attention that much to them. But for any world football fan, do yourself a favor and watch Italy, the players during the Italian national anthem whenever they play. There's tears. There's tears. Totally. There's like gyration, and they're like gripping you. Like they start hugging. By the end of the song, they've got a grip of each other's like warm up top, and they're singing, and some of them are crying, and you're like, whoa, I think there's a soccer game or this, but I'm not really sure. Like, it's crazy. It's amazing. Yeah.
Do yourself one other favor. Yeah. The Euros last year, we did the Scotland-Germany game, the opening game of the Euros.
Yeah.
Go listen to Flower of Scotland for that game when I'm going to do it right after we get off here. Go YouTube it, and there were like 40,000 Scots there singing. Crazy. It was incredible.
Yeah. Awesome question.
Okay, last one. This one's from DJ via email. So these are the same question, but they're asking you both separately under different circumstances. So, Landon, who was your underrated performer in the 2002 World Cup and why? And Tim, same question for you, but the 2014 World Cup and why?
Wow, what a great question.
Amazing.
Oh, I know mine. John O'Brien.
John
O'Brien in 2002. So John's struggle was staying healthy during his career. But when he played and he was at his best, people will tell you who played with him, he was the most talented player they ever played with.
Definitely.
And he was so nice.
Yeah.
He was so good.
I think someone correct me again in research. Did Kyle Beckerman play or start in the Belgian game? In the Belgian game in 2014?
One of those games, I think he did.
I would say this about Kyle, and
yeah.
It's not a disrespect. Like, Kyle was a really good player. He was reliable, and you can count on him. And I know, Landon, you have the utmost respect for him, playing against him
and with him.
And then you get to the 2014 World Cup, and you start to ask yourself, for a guy like Kyle, is this a step too far? Is this a bridge too far? Like, is this level maybe not for you? And he just silenced any critics, any doubters. He was the glue for that team, for all the big names. And Kyle Beckerman did not play in a Belgian game, and I thought that was a massive miss from Jurgen Klinsmann, because he was the glue. He allowed all the players to go, the players that the household names, to go do their thing, and he was incredible during that tournament. Be Kyle Beckerman.
Awesome. Those are great answers. This was really fun. I'm glad that we got to do this.
And I'm glad you enjoyed it, more importantly, Jordan.
That's what's really important. As long as the producer's happy, you know what I mean?
All that matters.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jack.